gold. More gold than we have ever seen. The cry rips through the ancient port. Ships laden with treasure, spices, and exotic animals choke the harbor. This is Aksum, the rising power. But this wealth, this power, has a singular, almost unbelievable origin, the legendary Queen of Sheba's voyage to Jerusalem and her seismic encounter with King Solomon. It is a story of love, faith, and the birth of a dynasty. We stand on sacred ground. A land where legends whisper through the wind, etched onto the very stones beneath our feet. This is not just the cradle of humankind, it is a cradle of dynasties, of empires built on faith, trade, and a connection to a story often told, but rarely understood in its totality. For centuries, the tale of the Queen of Sheba has captivated the world. A powerful, enigmatic monarch who journeyed far to test the wisdom of King Solomon. But what if I told you that the exchange wasn't just one of wits and riddles? What if it was the foundation for one of Africa's oldest and most enduring royal bloodlines? The Bible speaks of Sheba's gifts, gold, spices, and precious stones, all flooding Jerusalem in an unprecedented display of wealth. This wasn't mere tribute, it was a carefully orchestrated trade agreement. Sheba, controlling crucial trade routes from Africa, exchanged her treasures for Solomon's knowledge and access to his vast trading network. Think about it, Sheba reigned over a wealthy kingdom in the 10th century BC, a kingdom that needed access to new markets and new technologies. The implications are profound. The wealth generated from this trade fueled the rise of powerful kingdoms in the Horn of Africa. Kingdoms that would eventually give rise to the Kingdom of Aksum, a civilization that embraced Christianity in the 4th century AD, long before many European nations. A kingdom whose influence stretched across continents. But the story doesn't end with trade. Legend claims that the Queen of Sheba, upon her return, gave birth to a son by Solomon, Menelik. He, in turn, is said to have traveled to Jerusalem as a young man and returned to Aksum with, wait, what? The Ark of the Covenant. The echoes of Sheba's caravan, the whispers of Solomon's gold, they resonate far beyond the dusty pages of ancient texts. They speak to a legacy, a potential, that for too long has been obscured. Fast forward to 1324. West Africa. Mansa Musa, ruler of the Mali Empire, embarked on his legendary pilgrimage to Mecca. His entourage was a spectacle, a moving mountain of gold. Chroniclers described camels laden with gold dust, slaves adorned in silk, and the sheer generosity of a ruler who showered Cairo and Medina with gifts. This wasn't just extravagance, it was a display of immense, almost unfathomable wealth. And the language used to describe Mansa Musa's treasures, it's eerily familiar. The sheer volume of gold, the precious stones, the almost divine right to possess such opulence, it mirrors the biblical accounts of Solomon's prosperity. Historians estimate that Mansa Musa's wealth, adjusted for inflation, could have been worth upwards of $400 billion. 400 billion. And how did he become so rich? Trade routes, strategic alliances, and, crucially, exploiting the vast gold reserves of his empire. But here's where the story takes an even more fascinating turn. This wasn't just about material wealth. Mansa Musa, a devout Muslim, invested heavily in education and infrastructure, building mosques and universities that became centers of learning throughout the region. His pilgrimage wasn't just a religious journey, it was a statement. A declaration of West Africa's power, its sophistication, and its deep connection to the Abrahamic faiths. So, we have a West African king in the 14th century whose wealth rivaled, in description at least, that of King Solomon. Could the source be the same? Could the gold that flowed through the courts of Jerusalem have, centuries later, flowed through the hands of Mansa Musa? Wait, what? What if the narratives have been flipped and the land of Ophir was not the source of Solomon's wealth, but the end of a trade route that started in the gold mines of West Africa? And so, the Queen of Sheba's legendary trade journey to Jerusalem wasn't just a biblical tale. It forged a lineage, a dynasty steeped in both spiritual wisdom and economic power. The Solomonic dynasty, tracing its roots back to this encounter, stands as a testament to Africa's ancient capacity for global commerce and sophisticated governance. But why does this matter today? Because it shatters the myth of Africa as a continent solely defined by poverty and conflict. It reveals a heritage of kings, queens, and entrepreneurs who understood the power of trade and faith. If you want to unlock more of this ancient wisdom and apply it to your modern finances, check out our Africa Wealth Blueprint, available for just $27 at PannaAfric.com/shop.html. It's time to reclaim your heritage of abundance, guided by the principles that built empires. High voltage follow, subscribe and like at PannaAfric for daily Africa Plus Money Plus Wisdom.